Hey, what's up guys? I'm back with the SomoGear LA-5 PEQ-15 clone. And we're going to be zeroing it today and doing a test to see how well it can hold that zero. The laser is on, it's on high mode visible. So you can, I don't know if you should be able to see the red dot on the target is the laser. We'll see just for shits and giggles. See if you can see it on low power. Oh yeah, you can see it on low power still. I can see it pretty well in my eye and you can see it on the camera. So that's low power on visible laser, kind of in the shade, and then back to high. Okay, so I got the Bear Solutions laser zeroing target. This is free download on their website. It's pretty useful, check it out. So the intent, what we're gonna do today, I have 210 rounds of 5.56 loaded up, and then another mag in the gun for zeroing. Hopefully it only takes me about 10-15 rounds to zero, but we're going to use this mag to zero. Once we confirm zero, we're going to shoot 200 rounds of 5.56, and I'll kind of check every maybe, I don't know, 50 or 100 rounds to see how that zero is holding up, see if we're still impacting on our point of aim for our laser. So once I'm zeroed, I'll have another target out here. There's no bullet impacts on this, just some dents and stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to get, I'm going to draw a point of aim for my red dot optic, and then I'm going to use the tripod to keep the dot in that point of aim. And then I'm going to walk down and I'm going to circle where the laser is pointing with my point of aim for my red dot. So there's going to be my point of aim that I'm using to shoot through the red dot, and then the laser will be circled. And so theoretically, when I'm shooting, the circled laser will have some impacts in there, and if the zero starts walking off, we'll see where that zero is going. So I'm going to keep the point of aim exactly the same for all 200 rounds, and then we'll see if this zero walks off with the laser. The only reason I'm doing that is because I know that my red dot optic zero is going to stay the same. I don't want to use the laser as a point of aim, because if the zero is changing, then I'm going to be changing my point of aim and I won't be able to tell, you know, how, I mean, my impacts will still be off, but it's not as much of a test for the laser as it would be if I just use the same point of aim with a solid red dot optic and see where that zero goes with the laser. So hopefully we'll get some good information just with a couple hundred rounds here. I'm sorry that I can't dump 1,000 or 2,000 rounds through this thing like the big channels can. I just don't have that kind of money right now to be spending on ammo as much as I wish I did. I appreciate the interest that this has garnered so far. It's been pretty cool just to see that some people are interested in this product and interested to see what it can do on a real firearm. So hopefully we'll get some good information out to you guys today, and we'll see how it turns out.
Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of give you guys like a 1-minute rundown of the results of how I did this. There's some stuff that I explain later on in the video. It gets kind of contrived and a lot of bullshit. So I'm going to keep that in the video, but I just want to show you guys the results up front without having to make you watch 10 minutes of me talking about how I fuck things up. And then if you want to, you can watch me explain the process of figuring these things out and how I got the results exactly. But if you just want to see what the laser does on a rifle, then here's just a short segment to show you what it did.
So does it hold a zero? Well, let's see. So this there on the left was that initial 50-meter confirmation of zero. That was up and to the left, and I didn't make any adjustments based on that. Okay, so I zeroed it as described on the target. The laser was pointed in the little laser box down there while I fired that first group, and then I confirmed it at 50 meters. And while that's not necessarily a great confirmation of zero, I did not make any adjustments after firing this group right here. Okay, and then we came over and we shot 200 rounds using the red dot on the rifle as the point of aim, and we kept track of where the laser moved. It started out with the red dot aimed here, the laser was aimed here, and then after 90 rounds the laser was pointing here. After 200 rounds, the laser was pointing up here. Okay, so initially I thought that was going to demonstrate a significant shift in zero, because even if I'm sloppy on that tripod and my dot's pointing over here or over here, that's still quite a bit of a move to make from 200 rounds shot through the rifle. But then we used the laser as a point of aim at 50 meters again, and we had a decent group, at least compared to up here. So that's the 50-meter group, and then at 100 meters, our group expanded quite a bit. And like I said, I was using the daytime visible laser through a 6-power scope just because it was very hard to see in the daylight with the naked eye. So maybe that's changing things. You know, I would like to give you guys just a straight up, no bullshit video of this thing in action, but I'm not a Hollywood production company with access to high-speed cameras and all that good stuff that would be nice to have on some sort of test like this. Okay, so I hope you guys understand my process of testing this here, and I appreciate you guys for watching, and thanks to all the interest you guys had in the previous video. This is why I'm coming out here and doing this crazy experiment.
So that's just the bottom line up front. I hope you can understand the way I explained my method and the results. It's already a 6-minute video at this point, but from here on, I kind of go back in time and explain what I had to change in the test and exactly the entire process of me shooting these 200+ rounds with this laser.
Okay, so little hiccup so far. I mean, it's not really the laser's fault, but so I was shooting suppressed initially. I noticed my dot was off. I'm pretty sure the dot was zeroed unsuppressed. I think there's some point of impact shift going on with my suppressor. This is the Dead Air Sandman K with a 5.56 end cap and an e-brake. I've been having some issues with the e-brake. This same unit on other applications was kind of giving me some weird issues as well. So I'm taking the suppressor off just to demonstrate the capabilities of the laser and not have anything else that could possibly interfere with any results. So in addition to that, while I was figuring that stuff out, I was 50 yards out trying to do the confirmation on the target. The laser died. I had to take it off, change the battery because my mod button is kind of in the way of the battery cap. And so I just said, screw it, I'm going to restart. Got a fresh target, doing it all over again with the laser remounted. New target, pretty much fixed my red dot. You can see, I mean, this is pretty much where the target was. It was a little lower, but there's groups. That was my first group with the red dot. And so there was some weird stuff going on. I just redid the target, kind of copied over the point of aim and point of impact from the target. That was the first group, and that was the second, some of the second group and some of the third group. And then I had a group right here, which, I mean, whatever, that's good enough. That's, I mean, it's a thumbnail away. So that's about the extent of my performance that I'm willing to give out here. So anyway, I'm gonna have my point of aim here, slave the laser to that point of aim, and then I'll confirm at 50 with the red dot and the laser. Okay, so this is the zero confirmation. So on the right we have 5 shots using the red dot as your point of aim, and that's as confirmed by here. So this is a 25-meter point of aim for a 50-meter point of impact, and then 50-meter point of aim, 50-meter point of impact right here. So this is zeroed up nicely. I mean, as long as I can be mostly inside this, that's fine with me. We have a pretty decent group out here. This is still 50 meters using the laser as a point of aim. The laser, I made certain that when I broke the trigger, the laser dot was inside this box. So I don't know, I'm guessing that's the first round, and then it settled in and we have the other four right here. I could be totally wrong, but who knows. I'm satisfied with that still, honestly. If I had to, you know, go shoot with this zero, you can cover your hand with your point of aim and your point of impact. So at 50 meters, if I'm hitting inside the palm of a hand, that's satisfactory to me with a $200 laser and mediocre shooting. Okay, so I'm back at 50 meters, and just to re-explain what I'm going to do here, this triangle is going to be the red dot sight point of aim. I'm just going to keep the same point of aim for 200 rounds. Might be a little variance because the wind's kind of blowing here and moving the target, but it's not going to be a ton. It's going to be at least enough to see what's up with this laser. So I'm going to circle. It's kind of, I thought it was going to be a little elsewhere, but we're going to circle where the laser hits. I'm going to say laser and then a count. Every maybe 50 or 100 rounds, I'll come back and I'll check again, see where the laser's hitting. And just remember, it's going to be the same point of aim for the red dot. And then if the laser shifts in 0, I'm going to circle where that shifts. So theoretically, all the bullets are going to be somewhere around here because I'm using the red dot as a point of aim. But we'll be able to see that if you were using the laser as a point of aim, it'll kind of show us where our rounds would be trailing off if we were using that shifting 0. It's a weird way to explain it. I mean, I don't know, it makes sense to me, but it's hard to parse it into a way that you can understand and that's easy to explain. We're going to say laser 0 rounds and we'll get shooting. Okay, we're 90 rounds in and we're going to go check the laser point of aim. Okay, so this is where the laser's at after 90 rounds. Now this could be because of a couple things. So what I'm doing is I'm leaving the gun on a tripod with the red dot aiming on this black triangle. Double tap the laser to have it on, and then I look through the red dot again, make sure it's still on this triangle. So maybe I'm looking a little higher up and to the left on the triangle, or maybe the 0 is shifting. But that's where it's at after 90. So we're gonna circle that and we'll say 90. Now that already looks off again, doesn't it? That's about as good as we can get. Not the most scientific, but it's the way that I can do it. It's the easiest way to film it here in the daytime, just because I only have one night vision device. So trying to film through my NVGs with my phone and then put it back on my helmet and shoot and then take it off and film, like it would just be a lot of work to do it at nighttime. With the illuminator and all that stuff. So I'm just doing it with the daytime visible laser out here where you guys can actually see. Okay, so I'm just going to shoot through these remaining 4 mags relatively quickly without stopping in between. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying for extreme marksmanship here. I'm just trying to be relatively consistent in my point of aim with my red dot. And I'm just pulling the trigger as long as my dot is as close on that triangle as possible. So one thing I did notice is my handguard has a slight amount of variance. Okay, I don't want to move it around because I kind of fixed it, but it seems like shooting and heating it up caused it to loosen up and rotate just a tad. It does have the anti-rotation tabs, but I mean it can still rotate maybe 2 millimeters. Maybe a millimeter left and a millimeter right or so. So sorry about that. Just another inconsistency to add to the experiment here, but we're going to keep going and see what we can do with this laser and shoot all 4 of these remaining mags. Okay, so this is 200 rounds here. I want to say maybe the wind's moving the tripod a tad, but I'm a one-man operation. This is about the best I can do. So there's your starting, where the laser was starting out, and then the laser after 90 rounds was here, and now after 200 rounds it's here. So right there, and that's 200. It's a sloppy 200, but so I would say, I mean, even with the things I mentioned earlier, which is the fact that my dot might be pointing slightly differently around here somewhere. I mean, even if my dot was pointed here, that's probably twice as much variance as it would be at 90. So, but assuming that my dot is pointed in the exact center of this triangle, which is hard because from 50 meters, my dot is as big or bigger than this triangle. But I made sure it was as good as I could get it before I walked down here. And so I mean, the wind or just the weight of the gun might be moving the tripod a bit right now because it already has moved and I haven't shot. So a very sloppy test of this laser, but it's the best that I can give you guys right now. I don't have a ton of ammo to shoot, like I said, and I don't really have a great way to film this at night using the night vision function of the using the IR function of the laser. But I mean, that's not bad for a $200 airsoft laser. I honestly can't complain. What I'm going to do is I have maybe like 20 rounds that I could shoot. So I'm going to draw another point of aim. Hopefully I can even see this. So very simple, very sloppy point of aim. I'm going to use the laser as the point of aim to shoot this from 50 meters, and we'll see where it hits. I'll do 10 rounds at 50 meters, and then I'll see if I could take it to 100 or so and do 10 more from there. Once again, the results continue to confuse me. Point of aim, theoretically, point of impact, right? But when I use the laser as a point of aim, these are the points of impact. So I was firing the gun with the laser inside this circle. And I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hits. I mean, a little bit outside. Though, I mean, there's a regular size Sharpie for scale. Point of aim to point of impact, that's not that big of a difference, especially not big of a difference as it was up here. So that's like I guess the hypothetical point of aim, point of impact, using the red dot as a point of aim. And then this is in practice, the actual laser point of aim and point of impact using the laser as a point of aim. So kind of funky to me. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, or if anybody is more able to wrap their heads around this than I am and can explain it, that would be awesome. But I mean, what we see here is a decent 50 meter zero. That's a pretty good 50 meter zero for a laser. I mean, you're going to be shooting man-sized targets out to, I don't know, 100, 200 meters if you're not going for extreme range there. Once you get beyond that, I mean, your laser in IR, your laser under night vision is going to be bigger than your target once you get past 200 meters. So it's going to be really hard to fine tune your point of aim. It's really just point and click. But for this, for 50 meters, I can't say that I'm not impressed with this laser. I'm gonna see if I can knock it back to 100 yards and see if I'll still be able to use the visible laser out here in the shade. I had to move the target a little bit just because I'm running out of shade, and this visible laser, even on high, you can't see it in direct summertime sunlight. So the visible laser is really not for combat shooting or target shooting. Even it's for kind of those twilight hours and for zeroing the laser, because that visible laser is slave to the infrared laser. And we'll see what we can do at 100 yards. I got 10 more rounds. Let's do it. Okay, so we fired 10 at 100 rounds, or sorry, 100 yards. I had to do it in kind of an unorthodox manner. This red visible laser, even in the shade, it's super hard to see from this far away. So what I had to do was I turned the laser on, put it on the target, and I used the 6-power optic on my rifle to actually be able to see that laser. It's kind of funny, but through the scope I could see the red dot of the laser, and I was using that through my scope as the point of aim. So technically I'm still using the laser as the point of aim out at 100 yards. It's just in a little strange way to do it. So we'll go down and check the target and see how our hits are at 100. Okay, so these are the new hits that showed up at 100 yards. I'm just going to count the 10 that are closest. I mean, if you want to rewind and see which impacts weren't there before I started, then be my guest. But I'm just going to count the 10 that are closest to the point of aim, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So those 10 are 100-yard shots. That's a really bad 100. And I think if I was using the IR laser, I mean, I think I'd still be happy with that. If your point of aim was center mass at night at 100 yards, you're still hitting center mass up there. Those would be, you know, up here somewhere. I mean, in my opinion, if you're shooting with a laser from 100 yards away, any hit is a hit, especially with a cheap knockoff laser. And this is after shooting 200 rounds with it on that initial zero. I'm pretty satisfied with this product, with this laser. It's the SomoGear UHP PEQ-15. It's a knockoff or clone of the LA-5. I just thought it was an interesting product that I wanted to try out and see what it could do. Okay, now that you've seen somewhat how this product works, I just want to talk about the actual exterior aspect of the product. So far, I mean, first impressions when I picked this thing out of the box, it was solid built, man. I mean, I was surprised at the quality and the feel of this. I think this is actual injection molded plastic. I don't know for sure, but it feels pretty nice, and it looks very similar to the construction of the real Insight EOTech PEQ-15s or LA-5s. So the housing is pretty nice. Screws seem decent quality. They didn't strip out or anything. The power lever or mode lever, whatever you want to call it, has very positive clicks to it. You can tell where it's at. If you're in a low light or no light setting, you can really feel what you're doing with the switch here. The button is very clicky. It's not like a soft pad like the PEQ-15s are. It's a very clicky button, kind of almost like a tail cap on a flashlight or something. And then the zeroing adjustments, they're supposed to have a tactile click. It's a little mushy. I'm not a huge fan of how it feels. It just doesn't inspire the most confidence, and it's kind of hard to tell the amount of the adjustments that you're making. The knobs for the illuminator zero, they do kind of click as well, but it feels a little mushy, it's a little shaky. You know, I don't have the real product to compare, but for what I paid for this thing, $200, $240 shipped from China, compared to a real, even just the at PLC, I think those are, you know, $1,300, $1,400. So it comes with different color stickers. It comes with the black background stickers and then the tan stickers. So you got to put them on yourself, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal. And then the button cap is anodized metal. It seems pretty high quality. The threads are nice and chunky, and it doesn't seem like it's going to have any issues. The mounting system, it's not bad. It clamps onto Picatinny, and I think it has one recoil lug in the middle somewhere there. So it's not bad. I mean, this product is designed for airsoft, right? It keeps it nice on the rail, and it tightens up pretty well. It's nice and snug. I don't think it's going to fall off, and 200 rounds in, and it's not loosened up or anything like that. I'm happy with the mounting. Your lens covers are pretty good. They got the little bungee rubberized texture on there and that kind of rivet thing that they're hooked into. So those are fine. I don't think they're going to break. I mean, maybe they'll dry out or something after a couple of years, but or if you obviously yank on them, they'll break. But they seem fine. They seem nice and rubberized. So it's a solid product. It does have a tail plug. You can use the regular crane pressure switch. You can use Unity hot buttons, Unity tap. All those aftermarket switches will work just fine in this product. It's the same pressure switch. The screw holes where the housing is secured to itself, just like the real ones, those screw holes are filled in with glue or some type of plastic or something like that. So to my knowledge, there's not really any disassembly of this product that you can do on your own. I guess they have a pretty good warranty, but I don't know how I feel about sending this back to China to get worked on if it breaks. But anyways, that's about all I got for you guys today. In the future, if I have anything to update, I will definitely make another video. For now, it's going to be kind of the long-term evaluation of this. Really only long-term because it's few and far between that I buy bulk ammo these days. So I don't have the chance to be shooting every weekend or a couple times a week like I used to. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something about this today. And if you have any questions, go ahead and send me a comment or message, whatever you want to do, and I'll answer it the best I can. Take care.